Vivek Ramaswamy unleashed on Gavin Newsom, exposing him here on the wrong side of history in a really, really bad way. What he finishes with here on Fox News with Jesse Waters literally might have just ended the political hopes and dreams of Gavin Newsom. Also, Elon Musk posted something in the middle of the night that is going very viral that you are going to want to see. I'm Zach Costello. All right, so everyone knows that Elon Musk and President Trump got into a heated exchange last week over the big, beautiful bill. Elon calling it an abomination, and Trump claiming that Elon knew what was in the bill, but turned against it after the EV mandate was removed, which then spiraled into Elon claiming that the Epstein files haven't been released yet because Donald Trump was in them. It was a whole show. How much of what they said was actually true? Well, perhaps not very much. Musk has said in the past that he is for the removal of the EV subsidy, despite that being detrimental to his companies. And Musk also then posted in the middle of the night last night that he regretted what he posted about President Trump, saying that he went too far. I can appreciate an admission of wrong and an apology. We all do dumb things. Some people do dumb things, though, that you cannot recover from. And one of those individuals is Gavin Newsom. This guy, seriously, he is just a blown by the wind political sellout. Watch here as Vivek Ramaswamy just exposes him for being on the wrong side of history. For some context before you watch this, you need to know that a federal judge has already denied Gavin Newsom's request to block Donald Trump for using the National Guard in LA. When a state defies federal law, the federal government has the constitutional authority to deploy the National Guard in order to enforce it. In the 1960s, the governor from Alabama defied federal desegregation laws, and President John F. Kennedy deployed the National Guard of Alabama to enforce it. Listen to this. This is a scathing takedown of Gavin Newsom right here.
I know Gavin Newsom. I actually happen to like him as a person. The reality is he's not going to like what I have to say on this, which is that his behavior is starting to resemble that of another Democratic governor from U.S. history by the name of George Wallace, who was the governor of Alabama, who famously stood in the way of federal desegregation. And in 1963, President John F. Kennedy had to deploy the National Guard of Alabama, just like President Trump is doing today. And I know that's counterintuitive to some people, but the parallels are actually pretty striking if you think about it. Democrat governors, when you look at George Wallace, he resisted desegregation. Gavin Newsom is resisting deportations. George Wallace wanted segregated cities. Gavin Newsom wants sanctuary cities. George Wallace stood in the school door blocking the way. Gavin Newsom is blocking the ICE vans. It's the same Democrat governor playbook. You dodge the feds, you rally the radicals, and most importantly of all, you do it in front of the cameras. Because what they were both doing is really carving their Democratic primary path for their presidential ambitions. And Jesse, you can mark my words on this one. Gavin Newsom's presidential ambitions are going to end in the same place that George Wallace's did, in the dustbins of history where it belongs. That's just the truth.
Oh, but this is the reality. Democrats do not want immigration laws enforced, especially in California. They use emotion to defend illegal immigration. Listen to what Gavin Newsom just issued about what is going on in LA. This isn't law or logic. This is pure appeal to emotion.
What's happening right now is very different than anything we've seen before. On Saturday morning, when federal agents jumped out of an unmarked van near a Home Depot parking lot, they began grabbing people, a deliberate targeting of a heavily Latino suburb. A similar scene played out when a clothing company was raided downtown. In other actions, a U.S. citizen, 9 months pregnant, was arrested. A 4-year-old girl taken, families separated, friends quite literally disappearing. In response, everyday Angelenos came out to exercise their constitutional right to free speech and assembly, to protest their government's actions. In turn, the state of California and the city and county of Los Angeles sent our police officers to help keep the peace.
Once again, we have the constitutional right to assemble and protest looking like mass riots, setting fires, and a war zone while they tell us everything is under control and they are keeping the peace. Here is something you need to be clear on. Do not be fooled by this appeal to emotion. California and other states like it want these illegal immigrants in. Illegal immigrants inflate California's census numbers, which boasts its House seats and electoral votes. They are gaslighting you with compassion when it's really just for political power. I'm Zach Costello.